Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by JL Financial Solutions. If you're an Albertan looking to plan your financial future, you want someone you can trust. Together with Sun Life's estate and financial planning services, JL Financial Solutions will develop a plan you can be confident in to grow and protect your wealth. Give Jonathan Lambert and his team a call at 780-733-0910.
Well, they're coming back to Edmonton. The series is tied 1-1. Dallas wins 3-1. Quite frankly, it's a 2-1 game with an empty netter. Series now tied 1-1. I'm coming to you live from my Long studio. We're at the Long Shots. All Oilers game nights during the playoffs are all-you-can-eat wings. $25 a person. Some conditions apply. Visit Long Shots, Sherwood Park. Lots to break down tonight. But listen, Oilers fans, good news. It's good news. The Oilers are 1-1 in the Western Conference Final. I think many people are wondering what they do when they're in Dallas. They equated themselves very well. Like I said, 2-1 with an empty netter, 3-1 loss. But they are tied 1-1, lost game 3-1 tonight in Dallas, coming home for game 3 on Monday night. The podcast, Got Your Back, is brought to you proudly by Sherwood Buick GMC. Last month, the Sherwood Buick GMC team was awarded with the General Motors President's Club Award, which is given to the top 50 General Motors dealerships in Canada. Now, if you or someone you know is on the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, make sure to go to check them out. Visit the crew in Sherwood Park at 10 Auto Mall Road or online at www.gmcpod.com. Tonight, there'll be myself, Rob Brownie joined us a while. And we've got Ryan Rishaug right now as he hightails it from the rink, American Airlines Arena, over to his hotel. Shauger, I know you're sweating. It's a hot one out there, but just big picture, 1-1. I think an Oilers fan has to be pretty happy, especially the way the Oilers played tonight.
Yeah, just came from the locker room. So let me ask you this, Strud. Like, sure, the split is good, right? That's what they can say. Got the split, going home. But, I mean, this is a monstrosity of a missed opportunity. You had a chance to go up 2-0, winning both games on the road in a game that you came out and played extremely well in early. This is a big-time missed opportunity. So I understand, like, the positive energy, and I understand the players saying it, and I don't know everything that you're saying. But for right now, I'm still stuck on this was a massive opportunity. And this team needs to show a little bit more killer instinct. They let their foot off the pedal in the second period, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah, it's interesting because I actually thought Dallas started pushing harder in that time frame you're talking about. Second, you could just kind of see it coming the second. Then the third, they started doing it. And I thought it felt like there was more times where Oilers kind of had to weather the storm during that, because the first period, You're 100% right. I thought they were all over Dallas, and they couldn't quite find that extra
goal. We can break that all down, buddy. But my question to you, and we can get to that in the breakdown, but I guess my question to you is are they all feeling like, okay, good, we got the split and heading home feeling okay? Or should they not be kind of pissed that they let that one get away for a little while here, because it was a huge opportunity? So, like, how long should they be angry for that they let that one go?
I think that the worst thing you do in the playoffs is carry negative energy from one game to the other. So I think, although I agree with you that you can be, pissed that you didn't get more. I think you come and say, we've played 2 good games. We got 1 win. We're fine tuning and understanding how we have to play to have success against these guys. But I mean, it can't be so negative that it affects your sleep and you have a bad flight home and it drags into game 3 on Monday night. Okay, well, let's get into this bad boy. Let's get right into the breakdown here. Brought to you by Mr. Dirk, the iconic men's clothing store in Edmonton, founded in 1939, just off White Avenue and 102 Street. Mr. Dirk, formerly known as Dirks, has everything you need for every aspect of your wardrobe. Casual clothes like jeans, pants, shirts, sweaters, shoes, and on the formal side, an amazing selection of brand name suits, sports coats, and ties. They even make Shauger look like an 8.5. They can do customs and they can have in-house tailoring. Visit MrDirk.com. All right. For me, I got my number one priority I want to get to here, Shauger, the goaltending. The goaltending tonight, I thought on both sides was really strong. I'm not sure about the first goal on Skinner, but he made a number of great saves to more than make up for that after. But I thought the goaltenders were both, should have been star one, star two.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you on the first one on Skinner. Jamie Benn's a good player. He scored lots of goals. He can pick a spot, and he did. So not a great start for Skinner, but I despite the fact that he didn't have a lot of action the rest of that period, I thought he actually had to make a couple of pretty difficult saves in that period. So the 3 or 4 shots that he ended up facing after the fact, I thought he looked pretty sharp. So good bounce back from him after a shaky start. And I think he did his job. Meanwhile, at the other end, Ottinger won the duel, like flat out. It's been a goalie duel both nights. And the first night Skinner won it. Second night Ottinger won it. He came up with the saves. His team did a fantastic job in front of him, to be frank, but he came up with some really good saves. He was really steady. It just didn't feel like there were a lot of opportunities where it was like, the Oilers were really close to getting it. There was Ekholm off the knob there late in the game, and there were a few decent looks, but Ottinger seemed completely in control of that thing, and it didn't look that dangerous when it was around him. Or was it just me?
No, I would say so, but I mean, at both ends, there were a few more, I'd say, in the Oilers' end as far as scrambles in front of their net. But, especially that second half of the game, the Oilers' shot totals kind of dropped down. In fact, for those who didn't see the game, there was a stretch of 10 to 11 minutes where they didn't even have a shot on net. And I do think that, in a game like that, so I was watching the game, and I said after the second period, I said, this is going to be an ugly one. It's going to be an ugly one that scores. And ultimately it was an ugly one that did score. So I think that they have to look for more opportunities to get pucks to net. Sometimes what happens when you hold it and you try to move to a different angle to get a better shot, more people move into the line of fire to block that shot. And on the flip side, I actually think the Oilers could do a better job of getting in front of the netminder, whether it's a point shot or a closer shot. We saw a number of times where I can think of Ekholm off a draw. He walks in and hammers it, no one in front. Ottinger is going to stop those 99 times out of 99. Like those are probably not going in. So I think, getting the pucks off quicker, but then also getting in front of the netminder to disrupt them, like we saw him do against Shelovs in round 2 against the Canucks. I think that is something that the Oilers can make an adjustment. And after watching the video, I'm pretty sure that they'll see that that's probably the right play.
Yeah. I'm just outside here and we're walking through kind of a noisy area. There's some bars and stuff around here, so hope you can hear me okay. And I think, my point off the top, Struds, about letting one get away, like, I think you just hit it on the head there. There were long stretches where the Oilers generated next to nothing in terms of shot attempts and shots on net. And I feel like, yes, Dallas pushed. Yes, they did in the second. But I thought Edmonton pushed back. They had a couple of nice offensive zone shifts, but they never really got it towards the net. And I don't know. I guess when you see the way they played in the first period, and then you look at the shot share in the second and kind of the way that went, you're just kind of going, well, like, why did they get away from what they were doing in the first? And yes, Dallas has a say, but so do the Oilers. Like, the Oilers have a say in that too. And I do think that they got away from doing some of the things that were really successful for them early in the game. And, even in the third, there were long stretches where they were getting very little in the way of shot attempts and opportunities. So I don't know, buddy. And like, we'll get to this in a minute here, but again, like it's a no-hitter. It's just an absolute no-hitter. Like, this is so tight at even strength. Both teams are rolling 4 lines. Both teams are engaging everybody. The margin between these two teams is so slim. So, like, what can you do? What can you do to try and make a difference? And to me, again, it comes down to, like, the small things, buddy. And the Oilers were out hit tonight. They had 20 hits. I think they had 7 or 8 players in their lineup tonight. In Game 2 of a Western Conference Final, 7 or 8 players that didn't register a single hit. Like, I don't know, buddy. Hitting is not the be-all, end-all to winning the Stanley Cup, but it's one of the easiest things to just go and do. Why not do it? I don't get it.
Yeah, so I agree with that. Now, I think one thing I'll say is that if in this, it was so tight out there, and I'll talk a little bit on Struddy's world, but it is so tight that you don't want to get out of position by missing a check or rushing out to get a hit. But there were many times where you could just ride someone out, right? Just ride them out with their momentum and just put them into the boards and slow them down. So I think that's something that they can also look at. So when I look at the areas to tick off to improve, it's add some physicality to your game, and then get more pucks to the net, and then but more importantly, get more bodies in front of those pucks, right in front of that net. And those two things, I think, are two areas you could probably relatively easily add to your game to try to make it a little bit more uncomfortable, because I thought, quite frankly, for the most part, Dallas, I thought, was more comfortable, especially their D, making plays. Now, maybe they're more ready for what they were coming at them, but I thought their D looked a lot more comfortable tonight than they did in the previous
for sure.
game.
And nobody's saying to run around and try and throw hits that are stupid, and because it can hurt you. It definitely can. Nobody's saying that. I guess the margin for error is so slim here, and it's so tight. And so the way my brain works is okay, there's going to be a lot you can't control. What can you control? You can control, your attitude. You can control, your presence on the ice, the way you are with your teammates. You can control finishing checks is one of the things you can go out there and make sure. You can't make sure every time you get the puck you'll make a smart play. You're rushed, and sometimes it doesn't happen, and sometimes mistakes happen. But you can finish checks. And I've been harping on this for a series and a half. So, I don't know, maybe I just need to leave it be. It's just not the way this team plays. But to me, when you got a D-core that's handling the puck as well as it is and is doing as good a job as it is shutting down your star players, you got to start making them a little bit uncomfortable. And that'll pay off down the series. Deeper into the series, it's going to pay off. But right now, those guys are being allowed to shut down the Oilers' big guns, have their sticks in lanes, ride them off the puck, this and that. And very seldom are they having to turn around and go retrieve a puck and be made to feel uncomfortable. And I'm not sure why that isn't more of a priority for this group.
No, it's a point well made. Interesting to bring that up, because some things you can't control. And I want to get to the Weiss Johnson sound box here. With season changing, now is a good time to get your air conditioner scheduled in for service before the heat hits, or your ducts cleaned before you fire up your air conditioner. Blow out all that dust throughout your home. Visit WeissJohnson.com for all your home comfort needs. Zoobs.
Weiss Johnson,
There are some antsy Oiler fans that feel that 3 penalties through 2 games against Dallas, one of those being too many men, isn't enough, and it's not fair. So Chris Knobloch, head coach of Oilers, was asked a question about that, and he strategically answered. Let's hear Nobby now.
I've heard a lot about the past as being a spectator, not part of the NHL, not as a coach. The NHL, sometimes the standard gets changed a little bit. They would definitely want to make sure it's a penalty. Or in the regular season, maybe some things get let go. That's obviously unfortunate for us. We've got a very good power play, and we win a lot of games on the power play. And it's unfortunate for us that it's tougher to draw penalties in the off season, or in the playoffs, than it is regular season. But that being said, I think the standard's the same both for both teams. I'm not saying that it's unfair for us, but we would like the same standard.
Oh man, I love that. Hey, NHL, we don't think we're getting the calls that we should get. I'm not saying anything. I said it in the past. I've heard them talk about it. I'm sure it's the same for both teams, but that is, I think, trying to garner some attention from the NHL and the referees to get them called more. What did you read from that, Schlager? You were actually in the room.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a soft, it wasn't even a shot across the bow. It was like, boy, we really wish things were called in the playoffs the same as they're called in the regular season. That's what he was saying. Boy, our team is built on power plays, and boy, it sure helps us a lot through the regular season when it's called one way. And
Yeah, I'll jump in. I think you just jump in the car. I would just agree with you, actually, Shagar. I think it was a good way of saying it. I think that he casually put it in there. And in his way, this is Knobloch's way. I don't believe that Knobloch is a confrontational guy where you're going to see him yelling across the other coach like we saw Patrick Waugh do. He's just subtly saying in his way, this is Knobloch's way. It's understated. Hey, we're not getting the same calls we got in the regular season. The standard isn't the same. And I think when you start talking about the standard, I think that's a real kick in the nuts to the NHL, because they always think that they call back about the standard this, standard that. This is what the standard is.
I'm back now.
And I don't think the standard isn't the same. And I think this is his way of saying it. I like the way he did it. I love that he did, because, again, this is a rookie coach. This isn't a guy that's been through multiple playoff runs, to multiple Western Conference finals, or multiple NHL finals like some of these other coaches have been. So I give him credit. I thought this was really well handled by Knobloch tonight.
Yeah. Sorry, Struds. For the second night in a row, Dave Parker pulled up in the van and my Bluetooth kicked in inside the van.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure where you lost me there, but I will. So I agree with you that he tried something. Like he did. He decided he wanted to say something and he said it. But really, basically all he said was, we're not being treated unfairly. No one's saying that we're being treated unfairly, but it's just a different standard now than it was during the regular season. And boy, would it ever be better for us if they called it now like they did in the regular season. I mean, that's basically, when you distill it down, what he said. No complaints here. It's not unfair for us, but we wish they were called. Everybody knows they don't call it the same. And nobody wants them to call it the same in the regular season. They manage the games in the playoffs. They always have. They always will. That's the way it's going to be. We all sit there, Struds, and go, you can't make that call in the third period of Game 7. We all do it. It's just the way the game is. So, sure, credit to him for doing it, but it was a bit of a nothing burger to me.
Oh, geez, harsh critique of the coach. I don't know. I didn't see that coming
from harsh
from
on him. I'm just saying the message was nothing's unfair. It's just different now than it was before, and that's kind of a bummer for us.
I think he's using it as a backhand shot, where he's trying to use reverse psychology. I do it all the time by saying something you actually are trying to say by not saying it at all, and you think he's making a very strong statement. It's like, yeah, we're not complaining or anything, but I mean, the standard's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same. That's exactly it. That's what he's saying. That's his point. And there should be more calls. So I like it. This is him, though. This is who he is. He's not Tortorella. He's not going to stand there and argue with reporters or get fired up like Rick Bowness and stomp off like Paul Maurice. Like, he is calm. And I don't know. I think this is who he is, man. This is what he does. Okay, I don't want to get bogged down in this one. Let's talk a little bit about the defending of Dallas. And I think there was a pretty big improvement from the last game. There was a lot less space for the Oilers in the offensive zone. And how many times did we see an older player get it? And, the D-men are pretty open. I think that's one group that's pretty open. But as far as working it down below tops of circles, they had a hard time, I thought, or a harder time getting off the walls, getting kind of towards that middle of that ice. And when they did get there, the shots were either deflected or changed or blocked.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what was happening. I mean, I don't necessarily know that possession time was a massive issue, but it was getting to the middle of the ice and getting to the tougher areas. And Dallas just did a really good job of making sure they were kind of layered. So if an Oiler got any sort of space at all, it just didn't last. Immediately they were closed upon. It didn't feel like they had a lot of, I'm not sure what the odd man rushes were. I know you guys got some numbers from Sport Logic. Maybe we can paint a little bit more of a picture, Struds. But it just felt like they really tightened up and their systems play, and that it's so tactical. And I think it's both directions. I think in a lot of ways the Oilers did too. But it just shows you how tactical it is and how thin the margin is of error, because any little thing, any little mistake is immediately exploited. But I just don't think there's a lot of mistakes being made.
No, and that's a good thing. I think we do have those numbers from Sports Logic if you want to bring those up, Zoobs. Here they are. So high danger scoring chances, 8 to 10. Dallas having more. Scoring chance off the rush 9-3. I think the Oilers are. I think that's. I don't think you need to see the numbers to know that. Turnovers scoring chances 11-8 for the Oilers. So again, favorable. Then scoring chance off the cycle 14-9 favor the Oilers. Now I just said that I thought that it was harder, and I do believe it was harder. And it's hard. Like I thought they were doing a better job keeping it to the outside and not allowing them to get in the middle. So, I mean, listen, this is a game of, they made some adjustments, they being the Dallas Stars. Now I believe that the Oilers are going to try to make some adjustments. I think physicality is a good one. I also think, as I mentioned earlier, I think they got to try to get people in front of the eyes of Ottinger and make it a little bit more uncomfortable. I mean, give Dylan Holloway credit. At the end of the first period, he ran the goaltender. I don't know how that wasn't a penalty. Maybe there was an explanation you saw inside the building, Schauger, but if that was Stuart skinning around like that, Oilers fans would have been blowing the roof off Twitter, telling people that should have been a penalty. I thought that was a penalty all day long.
Yeah.
Like what did I miss there?
I think he got hit into him. Like, I think he drove the net.
Oh,
And if you look at the contact, he took contact, which then drove him into Ottinger. I think if that contact isn't there, he at least has a chance to avoid contact with the goalie. That was my read on it. But this is the thing, man. Like, the Stars weren't even mad. Like, nobody even,
No, they weren't.
he got like a little shove. Then he sort of, I'm sure he said sorry to Ottinger and whatever. But it's just like, nobody was even mad. This is the game Dallas wants to play. Dallas doesn't want to play physical. Dallas doesn't want it to be nasty. Dallas doesn't want to get dropped. They don't want a bunch of penalties. They don't want to have the refs suddenly get engaged and start evening it up and moving and calling penalties and getting used to blowing their whistle. So, yeah, I thought Holloway was knocked into the net a little bit, and that's why the call wasn't there. I didn't have nearly as much of a problem with it.
Oh, I couldn't believe it wasn't
Like,
a call.
Tanev
I
hit
thought
him.
for sure. I thought he's getting 2 minutes for sure. He did not change his path of flight. He went right in there. But you're right. No one got mad. The worst thing I think Tanev unliked one of the things he liked on Holloway's Instagram. I think that's what he did to show him that he was mad.
Double tap, take that heart away.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly,
that's
I was like, I could not believe it. I couldn't believe there wasn't a penalty there. I was shocked. Just absolutely shocked. All right, let's take anything else you want to get into, I guess, here, Schauger, in the opening segment, opening volley.
Yeah, let's do this, Struds. Let's get to the break, and then I'll get upstairs to my hotel, and then when we come back, we'll do Relentless player and takeaways.
Okay, let's take a pause, guys. We'll be right back.
The fastest growing male grooming company on the planet just got even better. Backscape 2.0 with a revolutionary friction fit handle makes the razor easy to pop in and out to shave not only your back, but anywhere on your body. And those hard to reach spots just got even easier with the new ergonomic design. Backscape's new titanium shave head makes for a smoother, more comfortable shave that respects your skin. Backscape 2.0. Stay smooth, gentlemen.
On paper, my life looks exciting.
In reality, not so much.
Every day it's same old, same old.
Clock in, clock out.
Then I discovered Play Alberta. I can play casino games anytime.
Bet on any game.
And buy lottery tickets anywhere in Alberta. I think my spleen is ruptured.
Okay, everyone's calling in. Lots of calls coming in here. We got
lots
Schauger joining us,
going on.
Brown. Before we get to that, though, let's get to our De Boer's YouTube poll. Brought to you by our good buddies at De Boer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Aiming to help you play better golf with golf fitting, instruction, after-sales support, and golf merchandise and clothing. Celebrating 25 years, check out the Pro Shop style atmosphere located at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. And over on YouTube, you can check it out on our page. Zoobs, what's the question, buddy?
The question is, to the fan base, how are we feeling about the split? And these are the choices. Super, it's all fans could ask for. Great, but need more from 97-29 and the power play. Good, but they let this one slip away. And the fourth choice was not good. The tide has turned. So we'll get into that. We'll see what the reaction is. And when we get it to Ask Us Anything, we'll have the results for you.
Okay, well, before we get to takeaways, let's welcome Rob Brown back in. And I want your thoughts on that poll, Brownie. Of the four, which one would you suggest is where your mind is at?
Oh, sorry, hang on. I got Brownie muted because he was breathing so heavily into there. There we go.
Oh, yeah,
now we'll get your take, Brownie. My bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Stop
I was
breathing
breathing
so
so heavy.
Yeah, mouth breather.
I had to come all the way from 2 chairs over to this spot. I think if I'm an Oilers fan, I feel pretty good about the split. The Dallas Stars are a good hockey club. The Oilers played. I think both games could have gone either way. Both teams could be up 2-0 right now. It's 2 very good hockey clubs playing very good hockey, and I think probably a fair end to a 2-game segment in Dallas was a split because I think both teams probably deserved a victory.
All right, let's get to takeaways here, brought to you by FG Promotions. When it's time to step up your brand game, turn to FG Promotions. Quality, consistency, customization, they got it all. Mention this ad and score yourself a cool 10% off your first order. Plus, they've got an awesome incentives program offering discounts on personal golf gear. FG Promotions has your back. Head over to fgpromo.ca, mention the podcast, and let's get that brand shining. All right, boys, I've been saving this one up for when we had all three of us together. The top line, and I know that they put the big guys together, Leon and Connor together, but the top line of Connor, Nuge, and Hyman, according to my math, on the back of the cocktail napkin at the bar I was at, had 3 shots. 3 shots, Brownie. What do they have to do to find a little bit more airspace to fire some more missiles at old Ottinger?
It's a good point because I'm probably guessing that right now on the airplane they're talking about it. I think that both Heiskanen and Tan have been exceptional in this series in limiting Connor McDavid coming through the neutral. They're not giving him wide open space. They're not allowing him to drive to the net. I think you don't want to look away from a shot. I think when you have the opportunity to put anything on net, to me, I don't know if it's as much what they have to change. I thought in the first period they were very good, but Dallas got better as the game went on. It's a good Dallas team that doesn't give you opportunities. They did a fantastic job in the third period of blocking shots, getting into shooting lanes. I think that the biggest thing is be more assertive when shooting. Don't look for pass, look for shot.
That's the first time, Brownie, you've said that all year. I've challenged you for the whole year that McDavid should shoot more. And now finally, game 95, you're agreeing with me. That's how long it took.
Just on this one thing. He hasn't had to shoot before.
I love it.
He doesn't had to.
I love it. No, Brownie, he nailed you there, buddy. He nailed you there. I love it. Not a voice
I still think that Connor McDavid, when he has a puck on a stick, he makes the decision better than any of us. If he sees a pass. I think the Dallas Stars are doing a really good job of getting in shooting lanes.
Yeah.
Like I think what was it tonight? 64 shot attempts the Oilers had. So 30 of their shots didn't get to the net. Yeah. And I mean, look at the one that Bouchard had late in the game that he pulled, drags it around the sliding player, and then Heiskanen makes a kick save. I mean, that's the Dallas Stars play a desperate brand of defensive hockey, and that's what's made them successful. So I don't think the Oilers are doing a poor job of getting the puck towards the net. I think the Dallas Stars are doing a better job of keeping it from getting to the net.
What about as far as bodies in front? Brownie?
Yep.
Yeah.
Go on, Shogger.
Go ahead with that. I like that.
Okay, but bodies in front. Well, you know as well as I do, Struds, the more bodies in front of the net, the harder it is for a goaltender. I mean, the game-winning goal tonight was scored on a guy getting to the front of the net, a fourth-line player getting to the front of the net, and give him credit. That was an incredible tip. That's a fourth-line guy that puck's going 3 feet wide. He changes direction. I think there were at times where the Oilers did a good job getting bodies in front, and we saw a couple big scrambles where shocking the puck couldn't find the back of the net. But I said tonight with Reed, Dylan Holloway's drive to the net should be put on a loop and given to about 4 or 5 different players in the Oilers dressing room and said, "This is what you do," because that is exactly how you have to play the game. This is playoff hockey. I thought that was an unbelievable play by a young kid, showing the way you're supposed to play this game. So there's other players that need to do more of that, because that's playoff hockey.
Brownie, we talked a lot in the last segment. I kind of went on a bit of a rant, as I am wont to do in these playoffs. I mean, the Oilers had 20 hits tonight. The Stars were 30 plus. I know it's a tactical series, but I believe that the Oilers in a tight series will create more for themselves if over the long run here, fundamentally, they're more physical and more players continue to try and be more physical. I think they'll shake pucks loose. They'll tire defensemen out. I think in a tight series, it can give them a bit of an advantage because Dallas doesn't love playing that way. What say you on that front?
Well, I agree. Dallas isn't a physical team. Take away Marchment and Jamie Benn, and this is a team that skates well, moves the puck well, they see the ice well, they block pucks, but they're not physical. And to the point what we talked about when the Oilers played against Doughty and when they played against Hughes, you find and target certain players. Heiskanen's going to play 30 minutes a night, and he's bigger, but still, he's not a monster. Tanev, who was fantastic in this game. Those are players you got to finish the checks on. Now, is it the Oilers aren't physical enough, or the Dallas Stars doing such a good job of getting rid of the puck quickly, not allowing the Oilers to hit them? But I do believe the Oilers, this has not been a physical series at all by the Edmonton Oilers. After seeing what happened between Edmonton and Vancouver, where for the first 4 games it was a bloodbath, it has been nowhere near that. It's been fast.
Don't you think that favors
fast.
Dallas for it to be like that? Don't you think that favors Dallas for it to be that way?
The Oilers, the Oilers are bullies, and I've said this from the beginning. They've got one of the most physical, biggest, meanest teams in the Western Conference. It is an advantage for them when they are physical. We're saying this where the Oilers really were one shot away from being up 2-0 on the road in Dallas. So the Oilers got their split. I thought the Oilers played well. Ottinger in the first period gave the Dallas Stars a chance to win the game. This should have been 3-1 after 1 for the Oilers. They played that good in the first 20.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And you talk about the game-winning goal. I think it was you, Brownie, said every detail mattered and everything. And McLeod literally skates out of the shooting lane, and then the puck gets through, right, as it's coming up to him. And I don't want to pile on him. I just want to talk about how every single little decision you make impacts the game. And that, quite frankly, is the reason that puck got to the net, and then the deflection and all that stuff happened afterwards. That's how tight those margins of victory are and loss.
And look at the Dallas Stars. And the Oilers, I think, were outshot 10-5 in the third period, but they had more zone time than the Dallas Stars. They had more shot attempts. But the Dallas Stars, Bouchard fakes the shot, and the Dallas Star goes flying by him. Well, then now there's a second layer of Dallas Star players getting in the lane. I don't know how many chances where the Oilers, you think, well, there's a Grady scoring chance, and then when you're watching on TV, you're like, okay, where's the puck? Like, how did it not get through? Yeah. And they showed the really good one of Ryan Suter with an open hand block shot. Yeah. This is playoff hockey. You cannot play the way that the Dallas Stars did tonight for 82 games. And you don't expect we've seen in the first couple games, or in the game in game 7 and the first game of this series, where Leon and Connor are blocking shots. We don't want them to do that during the regular season. But in playoff hockey, there's got to be a willingness by every player to get in the shooting lane. And you're right. There's times where, that Suter puck got through very quick, very easily, and it allowed Marchment to see and time the tip. So, yeah, you can't. And, Derek Ryan's got to get that out. Mistakes like that come back and cost you. Struds and Schauger, this could be 7 1-game or 1-goal games. Yeah. So one mistake could be the difference between a win or a loss in every game.
And with that in mind, Strud, looking back to that first goal, Ceci with the pinch, Holloway was a little bit hesitant, he's supposed to be covering for him, and he kind of got caught a little flat-footed. He hesitated and looked like he was going to head north again, and he should have been heading south.
Yeah, I think I feel like in this series, you always have to err on the side of caution. And I know that, it's sounds a little crazy, but just be on that side. And I really noticed it today from Evan Bouchard, actually, when the puck was questionable on the left point where Matthias Ekholm had it, Bouchard's standing outside the blue line. So he's just backing up a little bit. And it's a small, like, I'm talking 5 feet here, guys, not 50, right? So you're just back a little bit. So you have a little bit of space there. So you always want to be just there to back it up, and to use Brownie's word, layers behind the puck. So they have to multiple guys. So yeah, I mean, you can criticize or I can go through every goal. We can go through every goal and talk about things, but it's just those little details and just doing it right every time. And, we're talking about 3 goals, 3 real goals scored here tonight. Yeah. The third goal, I think, we're Dallas. We can toss that one in the crapper.
Well, to me, it's all about risk reward. There's a time to be aggressive when the risk and the reward can cancel each other out. But on the one where Holloway he's behind CC pinches, and that's fine because he looks, Holloway's there. But if you watch, to me, Holloway's trying to hit the puck out of the air. Instead of just going straight back to the defensive zone, he's trying to hit it. And when he misses, now he's flat foot, and now he's in trouble. And the reward of him, the puck had come out. So if he hits the puck, the reward is the puck goes in, and you're not allowed to forecheck anyways because you got players in there. The risk is a 2-on-1 and a goal against. So that was a risk reward that I think Dylan Holloway learned a lesson. Unfortunately, it was a valuable lesson.
What about the Struddy? What about the net pull or the goalie pull? Have we talked about that yet? I can't remember. We didn't in the first segment. That was a bizarre pull, hey?
Yeah. Brownie, this is probably more your specialty.
Well, when you pull a goalie, there's 2 times to do it. One, possession in the offensive zone, or possession through the neutral zone with numbers. Yeah. If you've got, if any of the other players are coming up with the puck and all 5 guys are going forward, now you can pull the goalie because you're dumping it in. And if the puck gets in there and a Dallas Star gets it first, he's under pressure. He's not going to be able to shoot down into an empty net. If you have the puck with possession in the offensive zone, that's perfect. But Kane's skating up the ice. He's by himself. And he got the puck in deep. Great job. I think it was Tanev. Completely shut him off.
And
but
at
now,
the end of a shift too. Man.
Yeah, at the end. So there's nothing that Kane could do any differently there. And all of a sudden the Dallas Stars, they had so much time that the defender got the puck, passed it up to Ben, who turned, passed it over to Lundell, who then skated about 25 feet without anyone near him and shot it into an empty net. So I know that Knobloch talked about it, and it wasn't ideal, I think is what he said. But yeah, you have to either have possession with numbers or possession in the offensive zone. The Oilers had none. That had empty net goal written all over it. All over it. An NHL player is not going to miss an empty net from that distance with time and space.
That was costly too, hey, Struds, because I mean, they spent no time with the man advantage tonight. I mean, very little. And we can talk about that, like trying to draw penalties or what's happening with the standard, Brownie. We got into that a little bit before, so it'll be interesting to hear your take on it. But, that would have been like a power play for them. And every second they can get with one extra player on the ice and all their skill guys there, who knows, man? They might have been able to find something there. So that was a tough mistake that really ended the game and negated their deadliest weapon from even having a chance, because that essentially is a power play.
Absolutely. It was opportunity lost, right? That's an opportunity lost. As soon as that was 3-1, you knew they weren't going to score 2, right? The game had been so or I shouldn't say you knew. It was very unlikely they weren't going to get 2. So you can tell by Connor's face too. He was like, "Oh my God, like this is brutal."
If you wonder, I wonder where the call was though on that one that brought Skinner. Was it Skinner on his own? Was it a player calling him? Was it the assistant coach? Like, because it was, you don't see NHL teams make mistakes like that, and it was a mistake because when Skinner got to
the head coach, doesn't it?
No, not always the head coach,
isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know. Skinner maybe told him before, say, "Okay, we're going to pull you."
Yeah.
Well, Skinner could come on his own. I don't know.
But goalies usually don't want to come out. My experience is they're very hesitant to come out until they know for sure, because they don't want to get that goal against either, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think it would have been the goalie. I think he was called by the bench.
Yeah, but I'm not. Chris Knobloch's a pretty smart guy, and he knows when all his other players are changing because they all left the ice, that there's zero chance that they were going to get possession of that puck. Evander Kane is not Connor McDavid, so he's not. I mean, he was tired. Evander Kane needed to get off the ice, so it was a big mistake. Now, I don't know if the Oilers tie the game up, but I do know the Oilers would have put some stress on the Dallas Stars if they have an empty net and are able to create something in the offensive zone. So yeah, it was a big mistake in a game where it's so tight. Big mistakes cost you games.
Yeah, and I did ask him post game, guys, about the poll, and he said, yeah, in an ideal world, would have waited a few extra seconds and given us, better zone time, better possession, and all that. So he kind of admitted it was a bit of a cluster on their end. So I did actually ask him that question. Struddy, just a little bit of housekeeping here. So we got Relentless player, and then you and Brownie will grab Struddy's World and Brownie points next segment, takeaways, and then you and Zuby will finish off. So we got Relentless player and then I'll be out.
You got it. Okay, buddy. Let's do it then. Let's do Relentless player, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services, an Edmonton charity relentless in helping youth age 16 to 24 get out of harm's way and get employment. Visit ucan.ca to see how your donation can change lives right here in our community. All right, a little bit different tonight again. Looking around, but I don't think I'm gonna go too far off script here. I'm gonna go with Dylan Holloway. I love the way that he was engaged and he was playing really hard. And I was actually watching a game with a friend today, and he made a good point. He said he reminds me a lot of Glenn Anderson, the way that he's attacking and just drives the net, and kind of looks out of control sometimes where he runs guys. And I think that we're seeing this guy's game evolve in front of us. Where is that? So I'm going to go Dylan Holloway. I'm sure you guys might have your own version in a losing 3-1 loss for the Oilers tonight. Brownie, you got someone else you might have gone with?
No, I liked what Holloway did. Again, we talked about it with Reed and the Holloway drive to the net. I mean, I can't talk about enough how effective that could become if he does it over and over again. I mean, he took out the goaltender, he created chaos. And now there's a little bit of doubt in a defenseman. They see Holloway coming down now. I mean, now you've backed that defenseman up a bit because he's like, okay, this guy might drive me and I know how fast he is, so I've got to start going faster backwards. Now you've opened up passing lanes going across. You've opened up him being able to cut across. So, yeah, I thought Holloway, he just continues to impress. Tried to be physical in the game at times. Once he ran a guy, missed, and just about knocked himself out, just got right back up. So Holloway, in a game that didn't have a lot of high event, I thought Holloway was very good.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I think he's, but I mean, again, the bar, he threw a couple of hits, drove the net once. I don't know, man. The bar for intense, physical, gamer type stuff, it's not high enough. The more guys need to be taking the puck and driving the net. More guys need to be having at least 2 hits in a night. More guys, Evander Kane with 5 shots and a few hits, maybe a candidate there, but he was dashed 2. But yeah, no fundamental objections with Dylan Holloway. Before I bounce, guys, maybe quickly, changes. They made the decision to keep Henrique out tonight. I think he was ready to go. Based on everything I saw at practice today, everything Adam Henrique is ready to go. And I think Knobloch made the choice to hold him back tonight because he didn't want to change a winning lineup. So you've got that as an option. You've got Corey Perry sitting there as an option. Candidates to come out would be Sam Carrick. I don't think you're taking Connor Brown out. He just sniped tonight. So, Brownie, where are you at on potential changes and Henrique coming back in?
Well, if Henrique's healthy, he has to play. The Oilers have gotten literally 0 production out of their third line. So to me, Adam Henrique comes in. He goes on the third line with Fogle and McLeod. You've got some offensive flourish with Henrique. You got some excitement because he's back in the lineup, and you've got a professionalism to make the right moves or the right plays all the time. So he would come in. I would move Ryan down to my 4th line center, and Carrick would probably be the guy that comes out. Carrick doesn't penalty kill, Ryan does. So Carrick, to me, would be the guy that would come out of the lineup. I don't think I go to Corey Perry. I think this is a fast series. It is quick. And I'm not sure the speed of the Dallas Stars plays into Corey Perry's strengths.
Yeah, I'd probably do the exact same thing. But Henrique has got to come back in. He's just a really smart player. Mm-hmm. And I think McLeod and Fogle are more slash and dash, speed, get up the ice. whereas and Henrique is not as fast as them, but very cerebral. I want to see that line and what they can do in as a threesome.
I don't know this to be fact, so I'll be careful with it. But like I said, I do believe Henrique was an option for tonight, and I think they obviously were not wanting to mess around with the winning lineup. So I think he could have been in there, but we didn't ask Chris that. That's just based on the things they've been saying and what I saw in practice today. So, but yeah, I definitely agree. If he's good to go, you got to get him in there. That's probably the only change. Janmark has been good. Brown just scored. I think you can make that adjustment with Carrick, as much as I hate to, because he's one of the few guys that actually tries to play physical out there. And I think that will be missing. But to get Henrique back in, I think that's a change you're willing to make.
Troy Stetcher, any sightings of him?
No, it doesn't even look like he's been skating. So I'm not sure if he got nicked up in the skates or, but he hasn't been skating with the main group. So something is awry there. Philip Broberg has been around a fair amount, but no Stetcher sightings. I know you're being a smart ass there, but
all right, we'll leave you on that then. Shogger, I know you have an early 9:45 a.m. flight tomorrow, so you got to get that 8 hours of sleep. That's an 8 a.m. wake up call, bud.
All right. I'm out of here. Don't crash the plane, guys. Keep the show on the air.
We got this. All right. On the other side of the break, Brownie points, Struddy's World. Take a lap. We got lots to get to. Stay with us for more Oilers Talk next.
Spring is here, and if you're thinking of buying a new home during the housing market hot period, contacting a mortgage broker should be your first step. Maria Gallus with Maximo Mortgages can guide you with a stress-free experience. With access to dozens of different lenders, Maria's simplistic approach and expert advice will have you ready to put an offer in on your dream home. Take the stress out of your mortgage journey. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca. That's mortgagesbymaria.ca.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has been delivering a high-quality golf experience to Edmonton and area. This beautiful private club, located on Highway 21 just south of Sherwood Park, occupies 160 acres and presents a challenging yet adventurous 18-hole design. A beautiful clubhouse, fully stocked pro shop, and warm, friendly staff truly make it feel like you belong to something unique and special. Visit www.belvederegcc.com. Long Shots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park and Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
Hey, gang. So I had too many buttons here to push all at once. Ooh, I just barely got Brownie up there. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome back. This is Struddy's World, brought to you by Shipwreck Rum. The Brindley family has been handcrafting their rum on the Caribbean island of St. Kitts for decades now. The Shipwreck Vanilla is blended with natural Madagascar vanilla, which gives it an incredible smoothness. Take one sip and you'll agree it truly is a vacation in a bottle. Get Shipwrecked, Oilers fans, responsibly. Available at your local liquor retailer. Please enjoy responsibly.
All right. I really love this kind of hockey, Brownie. I get to watch it, and we're all seeing it. And the physicality, I wish there was a little more physicality. I do like that. But something that I really appreciate is stick work and stick play. Not the dirty kind where you're slashing someone, but you look at the way the Dallas and Oilers are playing. Their sticks are nearly everyone is always trying to deny passing lanes with their stick, putting their stick blade somewhere the guy can deny it. But even more importantly, that you look how heavy guys are on their stick right now on pucks. there is constant battle, and you think you have the puck and someone's ripping off your stick because their stick is heavier. The stick work, the heavy sticks, we think of heavy sticks guys like Ryan Smith that just have so much strength on their blade and they're ripping pucks out. Every player out there is doing it. And it is exhausting to play that way. It's nice to be able to skate around and just poke a puck by a guy and go. But Brownie, it's not like that. So I'd like your thoughts on the heavy sticks and then the stick placement that I think has been really good for both teams in this. Well, I guess tonight we'll talk specifically.
Well, I mean, that's a great point. Watch how they're playing with Connor or playing Leon. They're just, their stick is mirroring the puck. Like say Tanev, he's like, I'm not going to be able to outskate Connor. I'm going to keep it on the outside and I'm going to put my stick where his stick is. I'm just going to keep moving it. If he stick counts, my stick's going to move with him. I'm not allowing him to make that easy pass. As for the heavy stick, Connor McDavid in regular season has a heavy stick. Like you think I've got the puck and all of a sudden he comes up behind you and he steals it from you.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing in the playoffs is all the players have that. The puck gets rimmed. Nobody's missing a rim. Like every single rim, you're making sure you stop that puck coming around because I think both teams are great. These are the two best teams in the Western Conference, and they also know that you can't make a little detailed mistake because it'll cost you. But yeah, 100% getting pucks in or sticks in shooting lanes. How many times tonight did the Oilers have look like, oh, there's a grade A scoring chance, hits a stick, goes into the mesh behind the net. So again, it's not just, as you said, Dallas, it's both teams. And I agree. I know I love the brutal physicality of the Vancouver series, but I love the speed of this game. It is so fast, this series. These are two good teams that they force you to be on at all times. Because if you're not, they will make you pay. And I know that Schauger's really harping on the physicality. I just think Dallas is so good at not getting hit. They move the puck well. They put the puck in the right area. They're not allowed. They don't. When you had some of the Vancouver players, they would hold on a long time trying to think of a play, and that's when you hit them. Yeah. Like Kane's like, I'm coming in. You still got the puck. I'm going to run through you. Dallas, they're like, okay, I got the puck. Here's where that's got to go because my guy's already there. They're making the play before the guy, so it doesn't allow you to hit them. So, I agree 100%. The stick play in this series has been sensational, and if you watch the Rangers series, it's the exact same. These are four good teams that know how to play good defense.
And quite honestly, I think Florida is the most physical. It's they're 1, and then it's 2, 3, 4. Or actually, no, I shouldn't say it's 1 and then 4 about teams that are physical. Like I think the other 3 teams aren't as physical as the Florida. And
I agree.
That's
the Panthers
challenge.
Yeah, the Panthers are nasty. I mean, you got guys like Bennett that are like they hit the hurt, and Bennett, so 100%. Oh God, yeah. So they're a good team. Well, these are 4. It was funny, Struds. They're 4 great teams that all play just a little bit different. They all have their strengths, they all have their weaknesses, and they're just hoping on any given night their strengths are just a little stronger than the other teams.
No, well said. Well said. Okay, it's now time for arguably the tied for first, the best segment in the pod, which is Brownie Points, brought to you by our good buddies at Hamel's Premium Jerky. I'm pounding jerky right now, left and right, guys. I'm going to turn into some. Hamel's world famous jerky is located right here in Alberta. Using prime Alberta beef, their jerky is available in 14 tantalizing flavors, including the famous sweet and spicy, which is delicious. The jerky that went to the International Space Station, family owned and operated since 1962. This great game day snack can be shipped to you anywhere in Alberta. For the entire month of May, 1.5 pounds of jerky for $55 and free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Visit albertajerky.com. And Brownie, hand them out, buddy. Hand out the old brownies.
Well, it's not as much fun after the Oilers lose. It's not. You don't have as many to give away, so I had to go searching. We're going to start first. I'm going to give Igor of the New York Rangers, Shesterkin, 20 brownie points. Oh my goodness, has he been good in these playoffs? Yeah. He single-handedly beat the Carolina Hurricanes, and then last night, that was I know the Oilers game was great tonight. That game last night between the Rangers and Panthers was fantastic. Shesterkin was great. I'm going to give 21 brownie points to Barclay Goodrow. You need heroes down the lineup if you want to win in the playoffs. Barclay Goodrow, a fourth-line player, scores a huge overtime goal. This is a guy that's done it before. I think that's his second or third overtime playoff goal. I've got 25 brownie points for Stuart Skinner. I thought the Oilers were the better team in the first period, but I thought in the second period Dallas pushed. Skinner gave him a fighter's chance. Skinner, 4 straight games that Skinner has been very good in these playoffs. That's a good sign going forward. 28 Brownie points to the fourth line of the Edmonton Oilers. Huge goal. They had not even finished announcing Jamie Benn's goal, and Connor Brown had replied from Cody Ceci. I mean, that's exactly what you had on your bingo card tonight for the players from the Oilers that got points. Ceci and Brown, but that's who it was. And finally, I've got 3. It's the bare minimum. 3 Brownie points for Angry Shogger. Shogger's angry when there's not physicality, but it's fun to watch. So Angry Shogger gets 3 Brownie points for his rants about the lack of physicality from his Edmonton Oilers.
He does get fired up. He does. He loves to see the anger, loves to see the hitting from the Oilers. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And just to touch on that other series, it was a good game last night. Oh man, that was good. Running, there's some massive hits.
Well,
and
how about
then that goal from
Kulikov hit?
Goudreau, man, I love that goal. That was a great shot.
It was a great shot. I mean, and I think it was. Is it Simmer that's doing that game? Is it Simmer that's doing or is he doing this one? Who's doing
He's doing this one. It's what's his name?
Old what's his chops?
Yeah, I can't think. God, that's
was it Gary Galley?
Gary, I think it is Galley. Yeah,
but he made a really good point on the play. The pass, it was a saucer pass that went across the ice to Barclay Goodrow, who's a fourth line player, and he took it without dusting it off, no stick handle, and that doesn't give Bobrovsky a chance to set. So that's a great play by him. But how about the hit by Kulikov, former Edmonton Oiler, the 2-minute interference penalty where he just about killed Wenberg. So I'm like, you and I were talking. The Florida Panthers, yes, are the most physical team in the playoffs, and we saw that. But I think both series, they're fun to watch. It's completely different, this Dallas series than the Vancouver one. It was pure hatred at times in the Canucks series. This one, to me, is 2 great teams going at it and adapting. I can't wait to see Game 3 to see how the Oilers adapt, because 2 things they need. They need to find a way to get on the power play, and they need to find a way to get shots through. Those will be the 2 biggest things for them coming up in Game 3.
Yeah, those adjustments they make, right? Just game to game, even period to period. Okay, let's get to Take a Lap now, brought to you by Backscape, the fastest growing male grooming company on the planet, just got even better. Backscape 2.0, engineered for back shaving, the new friction fit handle allows you to effortlessly snap the shaver in and out to touch up the rest of your body. The new titanium shave head gives a smoother, more comfortable shave that respects your skin. Go to backscape.com, use promo code GYB10 for 10% off your first order of an advanced or deluxe 2.0 kits. That's bakscape.com. Stay smooth, gentlemen. All right, it's my time to shine. So let's get through a couple things that I saw in the world of hockey. Number 1, Carolina Hurricanes are obviously making a change at GM. Don Waddell has stepped aside, and according to Pierre LeBrun and others, he is a leading candidate to take over the hockey ops of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, I don't know if that's GM or hire or what's going to happen, but Don Waddell's done a pretty good job, Brownie, with the Carolina Hurricanes. Columbus, I think it's fair to say they have some nice pieces, but there's a lot of work to fill that in. So I think Don Waddell's a good choice there. He's been around for a long time, and obviously he wants to keep on grinding.
I agree. I think he's done a great job in Carolina, made him into a perennial good hockey club. My guess it's going to be something he's moving up. I don't think he's going sideways in a job, GM to GM, because if he was going sideways, why not stay in Carolina and try to finish the job? Because they've got a good team for a number of years. The Columbus Blue Jackets have been a mess for a long, long time. I think Don Waddell, if it is him, I think he can clean it up, because right now he's got the Carolina Hurricanes every year being talked about as a Stanley Cup contender. And I think the Columbus Blue Jackets, with some nice players, still are a long ways away.
They got some work to do. And the pieces have to fit. Number 2, World Championships. It's pretty crazy. We're not even talking about that here. I don't feel like in Edmonton, because the Oilers are in the playoffs. But I always like to tune in. I love that when the home teams do well. Well, the Czech Republic today, or Czechia, as they call it on the backside, they won today. They beat the Swedes, and the Swedes have a good team. If you didn't see their defense, listen to this name: Hedman, Carlson. They've got Dahlin there. They have a bunch of stud D-men there. And they got, I think it was 7-3 they lost today. And had lost, I think they've given up no more than 2 goals through the whole tournament. And also Canada lost to Switzerland, which I don't really have the World Championships that high in my thing, so it's not a big deal. So going for gold at home in Czech is Czech versus Swiss, what we all expected when this tournament started.
Well, it's funny, Struz. I'm sure you found it too. When I played, a lot of the Europeans, the World Championships are huge to them. They don't say no to an opportunity to play. You see a lot of a lot of the Canadians. I'm not sure. Well, I'm tired. But when it comes to the Europeans, like there's a bunch of guys that flew home, like just for the medal rounds because like we lost out, but we want to get there in time.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I mean, the Canadians didn't have all their best NHL players, but all the Swiss's NHL players were there, so it wasn't a fair game because both of theirs were there. So it's a shocking upset by the Swiss over Canada that went to a shootout. Both NHL players for the Swiss factored in the game. But yeah, good on the Czechs, good on the Swiss. The Swiss, perennial good team nowadays. You don't see as many of the players in the National Hockey League, but they always have good teams nowadays that give the Canadians fits, and today they certainly did.
Yeah, it's really good. So you can check that out if you want on an off day for the Oilers. Okay, Brownie, you gotta get to bed. Okay. You got another
before we let Brownie go. I'm gonna jump in. We'll do the poll results with him, but I also want Brownie. A few people on the stream have asked about the Canucks fan caller on the show tonight. Do you want to tell us anything about that? Obviously, we were here, so we weren't listening. Is there a good story?
Well, no, it's just that we during the Canucks series, we were getting a lot of callers that were calling, and they would call and pretend they were saying nice things, and then they just, oh my God, like, Edmonton sucks, McDavid sucks. I'm like, what? Why are you saying that? That's not nice. But the guy came today, and it was really nice to start with because I agree with Rob on the penalty thing. I'm like, this guy's a smart guy. I understand that. But McDavid was terrible tonight. Leon was terrible tonight, and the only thing good about Edmonton is Calgary. And then hung up on us. I'm like, it's not very nice. I mean, so yeah, we were getting quite a few calls during the Vancouver series from I can't remember what Reed called them, trolls that are calling our show. But
I love that they're calling from that far away. It just shows you're in their head. Like I love that. Like I have an aunt who was chirping me early in the series. And I haven't heard from her since Oilers won Game 6 and 7, and I refuse to text.
When Game 7 was in doubt, I thought, well, if this goes sideways, the only good thing about it is I'll have my banning finger ready in the chat tonight. But not many of them showed up after that Oilers win. Quickly on the poll, Brownie, because you chimed in on this. How are you feeling about the split? The DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll. How is the fan base feeling about the split? 241 votes. 51% said good, but let this one slip away. That wasn't the top choice. Second place, great, but need more from 97-29. Oh, so good was actually the third choice. Super, it's all the fans could ask for. That was only 18%. It was very tight after that. So good, 51, great, 23, super, 18%. Not good, the tide has turned 7%. I'm surprised it was actually even that high, but maybe a few Texas hockey fans in the chat tonight.
I think, and we said on our show tonight, to me, if you want to look at something positive out of this loss, just guaranteed an extra game of good hockey because they're going to game. That was two fantastic hockey games between two fantastic hockey teams. I'm looking forward to Game 3. I think both teams are playing well. Both goalies are great. This is what you want. You want the two best teams going at it, and these are the two best teams in the Western Conference.
Both series feel like they got to be at least 6.
I agree.
I just don't know how I can get past it. So we'll see. But okay, buddy, get some. You got a full day of road hockey tomorrow, so get some rest.
Road rage street hockey all day tomorrow. See you later, guys.
See you, buddy.
See you, Brownie.
Bye.
All right, let's get to Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Match Eatery and Public House. Need a spot to hang before the big game or concert? Match Pub is as close to the action as you'll get. Located within the Grand Villa Casino, this lively sports bar makes a perfect place to gather. Enjoy perfected pub bites, a selection of ice-cold beer, and classic cocktails. For more information, visit matchpub.com. What do you got for us, Zoobs?
Hey, I'm coming to town for Game 4, so maybe I might be hitting up Match Pub post-game, maybe.
Love it.
I'm excited about that. It'll be good to get out for. I don't think I've only been to 1 or 2 games in the new rink period, and one of them I think was preseason, so
you're gonna love it.
Pretty excited. Yeah. Okay. So Struds Nick Biskupek says Oilers get last change at home. That will make a difference in games 3 and 4. Do you agree with that statement? How big of a deal is line matching in this series?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to have your choice, but who or whom do you not want McDavid to play against? Are you going to try to get him out there not against Tanev or not against Heiskanen? Those two guys are going to play a lot. Like I'd have a hard time envisioning a scenario where in the D zone, one of those two guys isn't out there, like when they're two pairings. Maybe in the offensive zone, you might get the third pairing, but even then, I don't think you want to risk it. So, yeah, I do think it would be an advantage maybe for like when Henrique comes back, maybe you can put Henrique against lines you want for sure, rather than maybe who you want McDavid not to play against.
Right, but as far as the Oilers' top players, you're not as concerned about matching the forward lines. It's about which D pairing you might want to put them out against.
Yeah, I guess if Rupe Hint comes back, but I mean, McDavid and Leon, I think they feel like they can be better than Rupe Hintz or Wyatt Johnson, right? Like, I think that's not a biased statement. I think those two players are better than two I just mentioned. So I don't think you should be worried about that too much if you're not Black, but we'll see what he wants to do. But I don't know. I want to see those guys again because I think I'd like to see McDavid against Wyatt Johnson head to head. That's something I will take that matchup over 7 games.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Ian wants to know. Now you're all biased, so you don't have any of your your opposition here on this. Ian wants to know, what do the Oilers need to adjust on the power play to get it going again, from what you've seen?
Oh man, I mean, they haven't had many, right? So what has it been? 2 calls? Well, 3 calls, but one wasn't too many men.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Dallas is doing a pretty good job. Again, I think that they're moving a little bit quicker and then trying to get more traffic in front. And I know that that's easy to say, but Bouchard is elite right now. The way he's working the blue line is absolutely elite. But finding more open shots for him, but they're trying to take away, to me at least, they're taking away Leon and Bouchard. They're trying to take those 2 things away. So I think this is an opportunity for other guys to shoot, including 93 and 97.
And don't you want, like, Bush, he threw a few more wristers tonight, which, I mean, those can go in too, but when a lot of shots are getting blocked, don't you sometimes want to have him just unload because those get a lot less fun to block, right?
They do, but those guys will still put themselves in front of it, right? Like, it's not like they're going to stop. So I do understand. I think in maybe shooting it again, I hate to get on them, but shoot it a little bit quicker. The longer you hold on to it, the more opportunity allows for people to get in front of the net.
Okay, a couple of comments, and you just kind of touched on this, but I did want to mention these comments from Bouchard. Ian also said, has anyone noticed how well Bouchard is reading plays in the O-zone? It's exceptional. I was going to say to you, could you remember, like, seeing a D-man moving the puck with the confidence, controlling the puck with the confidence that he has right now? Like, he's at Hughes, Makar, whoever you want to add into their level, isn't he?
Yeah, the way he's walking the line, I mean, Carlson, great at it. Both Carlsons, actually. Carlson in Washington, Carlson and wherever he's at now, Pittsburgh.
Right.
Niedermeyer was really good at it. Lidstrom wasn't as quick, but he found what lanes to get through really smart. Like, it's these guys, he's doing an elite. The confidence he shows and the size of his nuts when he's walking that blue line is elite. It is incredible to see what he's doing.
Okay, here's an interesting one. Chris R. says, Hyman is off to the side too much lately. Do you find that it feels like he's a little bit more on the perimeter right now?
I think it's unfair to single him out. The guy goes to the net all the time.
Right.
But I would like to see him get more, and not just him, everyone. I've already outlined it. Get more in front of the net, get more, in front of the goalie. But, Hyman, that's if there's 100 NHL players, he's 101 that I criticize for not going to the front of the net.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Neil Garrity said, a couple people brought this up, and this seems a little silly to me, but let's talk about it for a second. Neil Garrity said, Bouchard made sure he wasn't screening the empty net. A couple people brought up that they didn't like how Bouchard played. I never saw an angle that really showed it, but if I can just quickly, there was talk I happened to be watching the US broadcast at that point in time, the TNT broadcast. They kind of talk like they weren't sure that Bouchard even knew the net was empty.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a possibility?
I was just going to say it, maybe he wasn't aware of what's going on. It's loud in there. There's a lot going on. And as a player, Brownie outlined it really well. You expect for your goalie to come out when you have complete control in the offensive zone, or you're carrying it in with numbers so you can kind of control it. So I could see how he maybe didn't know it was there, but let's be clear that the although it was possible the Bouchard could have blocked that shot, but there were things that happened prior to that. They were handled. And I don't know if it was, I have a hard time believing the goalie would leave the net without the endorsement of his coach. So something happened. Maybe there was miscommunication on the bench between the coaches. I don't know. And Knobloch was going to throw anyone on the bus. Yeah. But all I know is that that'll be reviewed and it won't happen like that again. But yeah, I the way he played, he just didn't seem like he knew that there was nothing going on behind him.
Neil Garrity wanted to make sure that we knew he was kidding. I knew the comment was made in jest, but a couple people did bring up they felt like they didn't like. Now I know that happens in beer league all the time. I've been on the bench and they score in the empty net, and a guy skates up and you're over here. Like but I've been here I've been here for 30 seconds. Okay, Neil really wants to make sure that we know it was a joke. We got you, Neil. We know you know the game. It's all good, buddy. Okay, well, let's give one more and we'll wrap this one up a little early. Just an overall statement. Nick Biskupix has got the split. It's all good. Skinner looks good, and that's the key to him. From what you've seen, if you're playing D in front of Stu Skinner, what you've seen of him these 2 games in Dallas, how are you feeling about your overall confidence in your goaltender?
I feel good about it. I think he's, guys, he's given up what was it? 3-2 last game? I can't remember.
Yeah, 3-2 overtime. Yeah.
So he's given up 4 goals in 2 games on the road.
Plus an extra period. 2+.
Yeah, right. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, so 7 periods, 4 goals. Pretty good. That's pretty good defending, right? So I feel that if he's able to keep it around the 2-goal mark, I'm going to bet the Oilers are able to score more than 2 goals 4 times out of 7 games. I really feel that way. We've had a good goalie-tending performance. They won game 1. I think, sooner or later the power play is going to get some chances. They're going to win a game. Connor McDavid goes off, right? And then you have that's 3 games, and you got to find the 4th one somehow. I think so. It's a positive. Just to wrap it up, I feel it's a positive that they came home with a win. Stu Skinner's in their zone. They've shown they can play with Dallas, and at most they carry a lot of the play in those games. So it's very positive.
And one tiny other just little thought on that too, that you just made me think of is they said it was, you mentioned it was really hot in Dallas today. Few people commenting about the ice. Maybe the Oilers on home ice, a little more jump, the crowd, better ice, a little faster. Maybe they draw some more penalties. Maybe those scenarios just add up to a couple more calls.
Yeah, no, for sure. And your own fans, and the fans are great here, both inside and outside. It's going to be rocking. Let's be honest. Monday is going to be absolutely rocking. So yeah, they're in a good spot. They're in a really good spot. And just keep in mind, the other 2 teams on the other side are in the same spot, right? And no one's writing anybody off. So let's be patient here. All right, let's wrap this bad boy up by bringing us the play of the day, brought to you by Play Alberta. The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code GYB50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for the unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boosts on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive suite tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions do apply. Woo, where do you go for the play of the day? I think I'm going to go with the game-winning goal by Dallas. I know you don't want to hear that, Oilers fans, but I said after the second period that it's going to be an ugly one. And, Brownie liked the tip, and I get it. But it was generally speaking, a nothing play. Where it comes up to the blue line, the Oilers don't quite get it out, don't quite get in the shooting lane. Shot from the point, there's a tip, wakes its way through the group, and then behind Skinner. That to me is playoff winning hockey in a nutshell. And the Oilers got to find a way to get one more of those next game.
Yeah.
What do you think, Zoops?
Yeah, those are the goals that get scored third period, tie games, overtime. They're not usually as pretty as the one Connor scored the other night. That's how game-winning goals get scored in the playoffs.
So good. Well, Oilers lose 3-1 in Dallas. Series now tied 1-1. Team flies home tomorrow. They will rest. They'll get ready for the game Monday night with maybe a light morning skate. That's it for Zuby, myself, Schauger, and of course our old buddy Brownie. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back with another post-game pod Monday. Zuby, any final thoughts?
No, a couple people asked, we're not going to be on again before the game. So do you have a prediction for game 3? What's your gut telling you?
Yeah, I think the Oilers, I think they've unlocked the offense 4-1. Write that down in your diary, everybody.
I like that. I'm not sure if I'm going to be here Monday either. I definitely won't be here Wednesday, but we'll see. Might be Steve, might be me. I'm going to try and do it because these post games are so fun. And thanks to everyone on the stream for chiming in and being cool.
So good. Thanks for all of them listening. Get some sleep. You're going to need it. This is going to be a long series. Good night, everybody.